need to forgive that person. And I know you probably say in your mind that you want to forgive them. Maybe you say you've already forgave that person. But when you think of them, there shouldn't be any type of bitterness when it comes to them. And the word actually tells us that if you do not forgive somebody, then God cannot forgive you. Because then you have to go back at what you did to Jesus, the amount of sins that you have committed against Jesus. And do you realize that every time you sin against God, it is hurting God? It's basically like beating God. Every time you sin, it's basically like you hitting him, just like those people who were crucifying, who were mocking him, because he would not have to have went through that if it weren't for us. And so for you to not forgive someone just because they've done something to you or they hurt you in a certain way, that would be selfish of you, because Jesus died for you, even though you betrayed him many times and you're continuing to do it each and every day. You also have to realize that not forgiving that person doesn't do anything to you but store up pride inside of your heart. It doesn't do anything but harden your heart. And us as followers of Christ, we are supposed to be humble. We are not supposed to have any pride inside of us. So yes, God needs you to forgive that person, no matter who it is. And maybe you don't even know if you need to forgive that person. Maybe you don't know if you need to forgive someone. But how do you know that you need to forgive someone? How do you know if you haven't forgave someone? Well, simply by asking yourself, can you look at that person without any bitterness, without any rage in your heart for what they've done for you, done to you? Can you look at that person and still love them from a distance, want to see them in heaven? Because I'm not saying that you got to be best friends with the person or you just got to be really, really close, but you have to be willing to at least talk to them. Because yes, certain people will continue to do wrong to you in your life. So that's why you have to love them from a distance. But that doesn't mean you should hold any bitterness towards them or rage towards them just because they did something to you that was wrong. Because us as followers of Christ are always supposed to be the bigger person. So in this walk with Christ, make sure that you are always forgiving someone. And before I end off this video, I want to read the specific verse that talks about forgiveness. And it's in Matthew chapter 18. It's a parable of the unforgiving debtor. It says in verse 21, Matthew chapter 18, verse 21, it says, "Then Peter came to him and asked, 'Lord, how often should I forgive someone who sins against me? 7 times? No, not even 7 times, Jesus replied, but 70 times 7. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven can be compared to a king who decided to bring his accounts up to date with servants who had borrowed money from him. In the process, one of his debtors was brought and owed him millions of dollars. He couldn't pay, so his master ordered that he be sold along with his wife, his children, and everything he owned to pay the debt. But the man fell down before his masters and begged, 'Please be patient with me, and I will pay it all.' Then his master was filled with pity for him, and he released him and forgave his debt. But the man left the king. He went to a fellow servant who owed him a few $1,000s. He grabbed him by the throat and demanded instant payment. His fellow servant fell down before him and begged him for a little time. 'Be patient with me and I will pay it,' he pleaded. But his creditor wouldn't wait. He had the man arrested and put into prison until the debt could be paid in full. When some of the other servants saw this, they were very upset. They went to the king and told him everything that happened. Then the king called in the man he had forgiven and said, 'You evil servant, I forgave that tremendous debt because you pleaded with me. Shouldn't you have mercy on your fellow servant, just as I have had mercy on you?' Then the angry king sent the man to prison to be tortured until he paid his debt. That's what my heavenly Father will do to you if you refuse to forgive your brothers and sisters from the heart." So just like the king forgave the servant, and then the servant couldn't forgive the fellow servant, and the king ended up punishing the servant for eternity, that's exactly how it will be with us, because God has forgave us for so many things, and we don't deserve to not forgive someone. Yeah, I just felt led to really talk about forgiveness because I feel like someone really needs to forgive. So if you feel like this is talking to you, make sure you are forgiving that person and really repenting from it and turning to God so God can forgive you. So again, appreciate you for watching. And I do really appreciate all the support and everybody who supported with the link in the bio. Your donation doesn't go unnoticed. I really do appreciate it. And again, thank y'all for all of the support. As usual, I'll see y'all in the next one. So y'all stay blessed.